The full Republican tax plan has been released. Let me give you a quick little summation and breakdown of some of the provisions. This is from NPR here. 7 individual tax brackets would be reduced to 4 brackets. 12%, 25%, 35%, and the current top rate of 39.6% remain in place for the very wealthy. Okay, so right off the bat here, that's a little misleading because they upped the line where that top rate kicks in, 39.6%. So right now, 39.6%, I believe it's for about $400,000, and it varies between individuals and couples. But I believe it's about $400,000 is when the top marginal rate of 39.6% kicks in. They raised that to, I think, about $500,000. So the top marginal rate stays in place, but they upped the line where it actually kicks in. Now, also, look at what they did on the bottom end there, because the bottom rate right now is 10%. So they are, weird, raising the bottom rate to 12%. What happened? I thought you guys were in favor of tax cuts. No, it turns out for the poorest people in the country, for you, we want to raise taxes 2%. These guys, again, it's all in the marketing. When they say, oh, we're going to cut taxes for everybody, cut tax for everybody. But you didn't. You're raising it for the bottom. What do you mean? Well, yeah, but we're in favor of cutting taxes for everybody. But you didn't do that. You raised taxes on the bottom. And by the way, that's the last bracket that should be raised because half the country makes $30,000 a year or less. So the people who need the money the most, you're going to raise taxes on. Well, that's wonderful. Let's continue here. Corporate taxes would drop from 35% to 20% permanently. God damn. So on this front, they just lie all the time. Republicans, they go, we have the highest corporate tax in the world. Well, no. Number one, we're talking about the nominal rate when we say 35%. The rate that matters is called the effective rate. That's what corporations actually pay. So on paper, it's 35, but after all the loopholes and deductions and all the nonsense, on average, corporations pay between 12% and 14%. So that makes it one of the lowest in the modern world, one of the lowest. So they're just lying and misleading when they say, well, one of the highest corporate tax in the world. That's untrue. And by the way, corporations used to pay a significantly higher percentage of the tax burden. Now they pay a lower percentage of it. And where are those taxes shifted? To the middle class, to you. You need to pick up the slack for the corporations who are dodging their taxes and paying less in taxes. So, again, notice what they're doing here. This is so slimy because what they're doing is, even with that first fact I gave you, they're trying to keep the top rate 39.6%. That's so that they turn around and go, we're not cutting taxes for wealthy people. We're not doing that. I don't know what you mean. But when you look at the details of the plan, that's exactly what they're doing. They're cutting taxes for wealthy people and they're cutting taxes for corporations. So it's just a slimy trick so they can turn around and go, we're not helping the wealthy. But in reality, when you go into the details of the plan, of course they are. Okay, next. Standard deduction would increase from $6,350 to $12,000 for individuals and from $12,700 to $24,000 for married couples. Child tax credit expands from $1,000 to $1,600. Federal deductions for state and local income and sales tax would be eliminated, but local property taxes would be deductible up to $10,000. Okay, so that's an important one right there because this deduction basically makes it so that Trump and the Republicans are punishing blue states because this is one of the biggest deductions that's used in blue states. You can deduct from your federal taxes the amount you paid in your state and local income tax. But they go, no, we're going to get rid of that. So in other words, effectively raise taxes on blue states. And that would be a punishment. You're targeting blue states because they're blue states, they didn't vote for you. So fuck them. We're not going to get them anyway. So raise taxes even more on them. They're so slimy. Okay, more. No changes to limits on 401k pre-tax contributions. Alternative minimum tax would be replaced. There's another slimy one. So the alternative minimum tax, that's a tax where, when there's a corporation or there's a really rich person, they have the ability to hire an army of lawyers to look for all the different deductions that they can take. The alternative minimum tax makes it so that even if they find every deduction under the sun, and they do, by the way, and they make it so that their tax rate goes from 39.6% to 4%. The alternative minimum tax goes, no, we're not letting you deduct up to a certain point. So once you have to pay at least 20% in tax. Now, that line varies whether you're a corporation or an individual, and so that line changes from person to person and from entity to entity. But they say roughly, hey, we're not going to let you pay less than 20% in taxes. Sure, you may have an army of lawyers and you just deducted, your rate's supposed to be 39.6 and you went all the way down to 4%, but we're not going to let you pay 4%. You have to pay at least 20%. So in other words, a lot of your deductions, they don't count. There's an alternative minimum tax that kicks in if you find a way to deduce below that amount. So sorry, you're going to have to pay at least 20%. So it is an incredibly important tax because it makes it so that even though the rich people are rigging the system and getting out of paying their fair share of taxes, it makes it so that at least there's some floor where they go, no, you can't go below this. And why is Donald Trump getting, why do Donald Trump and the Republicans want to get rid of this? Because they're doing the bidding of rich folks, of course. But furthermore, this is a tax that has hit Trump many times because he has the army of lawyers. He finds a way to wiggle out of paying all of his taxes. But the alternative minimum tax is a tax that made it so he had to pay more than he wanted to. So this is a tax break that will 100% put more money in his own pocket. Okay, and then finally here, the estate tax would kick in at $11.2 million, up from $5.49 million, but it would be fully repealed as of 2024. Corporate profits from overseas would no longer be taxed, but there would be a minimum 10% tax on foreign subsidiaries. So the estate tax one, again, this is one of those things where you go, what? No, we're compromising. See, before, when we released our framework, we said we want to eliminate it. Totally. Well, now we don't want to eliminate it until 2024. And also, we want to raise the threshold. So the estate tax used to kick in for people who had fucking estates, and they're worth more than $5.49 million, so it only applies to about 0.2% of American families. They go, no, come on, we got to be reasonable here. It only kicks in for people who make over 11.2 million or have over 11.2 million. So notice they try to weasel all these ways where they give more money to the rich and more money to corporations while still trying to leave themselves enough plausible deniability to turn around and go, what? No, we're not on the side of the wealthy. Look, we're keeping the top rate at 39.6%. See, we're not helping the rich. But diving into any of the details of the plan, you find very quickly that's a facade. That's all they're doing is trying to give themselves one talking point, one out, where they go, no, we're not helping the rich. See, 39.6%, the top rate stays the same, even though we raise the line where it kicks in, and even though in 8,000 other ways we're helping the rich and corporations. Don't fall for it, man. All this is just a standard Republican bill. This is a standard bill, same kind of garbage you would have seen from George W. Bush, same kind of garbage you would have seen from any other Republican historically. It's a heist. It's class warfare on the middle class and on the poor, waged by the rich. They want to wiggle out of more taxes. They want to let corporations get away with more rigging of the system and more fuckery. Don't stand for it. This is not an area, and the Democrats, the Democrats being the Democrats, they'll probably, maybe we can support it if you tweak this one little provision a little bit over. No, wrong. Say, no, we're not doing this. We're 100% against it. We're going to do everything in our power to try to stop this from passing. But we'll see. I bet that certain Democrats, like, say, maybe one named Joe Manchin from West Virginia, he's going to be mighty interested in what the Republicans are selling here, and they may even chip away and get his vote.